Hello there. Welcome to welcome to the final Band Batch Skeleton Crew music review. Why are you laughing at me?
Just laughing. Just
I'm Chrysanthe. You can call me Xanthe. And with me today is the full Band Batch. This is
woo.
Justin, James, and Christina. Today we're reviewing the season finale of Skeleton Crew, or maybe the series finale. I guess we don't really know. This was episode 8, The Real Good Guys. We haven't really talked about it amongst ourselves. So, just in general, how's everyone doing? How did we like the episode? And chat, same question. Were you satisfied with the conclusion?
Yes and no. I'll go first. Yes and no because I've been loving this series. My only complaint is that I wish there was more. And I felt like the ending was like super duper abrupt. I liked all the twists. I like being wrong about all of my predictions. That was fun. I think I predicted Jod would get arrested. We'd have a thing. The supervisor was going to be some form of Rennet. I kind of liked what it all ended up being, and yeah, I feel like the ending was like, and we're done. Everything's good. Adden is in. There's a flaming ship in the river, and the supervisor's dead, and there's all these pirates everywhere, and that's it. Goodbye.
Someone in
And
chat
then to like
called
a
it.
really, huh?
I said someone in the chat last week called it when I don't remember who it was, said that the supervisor is going to be a droid. So someone in the chat
Yeah,
said
that's
that.
right. That's right. And I wish they gave Stephen Fry like 5 more lines. But that was brilliant. I really liked the supervisor reveal and his little so which one are you lying about? You know, kind of a thing. How smart he was kind of cool.
I like Icarus's comments. Cold, hard music minutes.
Got it.
Nice.
Uh,
Yes.
What do you think, James?
yeah, I thought everything in this episode in my mind was like awesome and perfect the way it was. Like I loved it, but like Justin, like I was just like, wait, why isn't there like an epilogue? Like why isn't there some type of like resolution to like what's I mean, it's almost like they didn't want to commit to what happens to them because they're planning on maybe, I don't know, integrating this into something else that they're doing, which is possible.
Which could be a good sign.
Yeah.
I mean, that's something to think about here, which is this could, this story is so contained and so like non-consequential to the rest of the Star Wars canon that it could have happened at any point in the canon. Like they could have made this a High Republic show. They could have made I mean, I guess it does matter for that one bit about people knowing who the Jedi are, but I guess this could have happened during the prequel era or something like that. I guess where I'm going with this is like they specifically said it like exactly during like when Mando and all those other shows are happening. You know what I mean? Which
Yeah.
leads me to believe that they are planning on somehow tying these characters into everything else they're doing.
That's
You
a
know?
good point because I feel like it's so contained and like wrapped in a nice bow, done kind of a thing that they're kind of playing it safe in that sense where like for example, not comparing, but like just for example, like the Acolyte had a very clear come back next week or next year kind of a thing as we do the thing, and unfortunately we all know how that turned out, so I'm curious if
Right.
Skeleton Crew was kind of like let's just close this. It felt like there might have been an epilogue or something. We know that these shows can now be like edited all the way up until the release, kind of a thing. There could have, for all we know, been something, and they're like, you know what,
Right.
let's just close it. And if nothing happens, great. It can exist in its own beautiful little bubble of the Star Wars universe. And if something happens, it's like, okay, cool. We didn't bait anybody, in a way.
Right.
You know, we can
And-
kind of go anywhere with it.
I mean, we know actually that that there was some stuff cut because they actually cast somebody, I guess, as Jod's master.
Right.
for what I
Yeah.
imagine is a flashback scene that we didn't see, and I'm actually glad that they didn't do a flashback. Like,
Yeah. She
you
did
know,
post
to that.
about it.
I think that the way that they did that was great with just him telling his history. But apparently they had a part of the episode that they hypothetically either shot or planned to shoot. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's keep going around before we diverge into the many conversation points that we'll have. Christina, overall thoughts on the finale?
I think it tracked really well with what the whole show presented previously. We got, kids on hover bikes. We got
Yeah.
parent on hover bikes. We got parents and kids fighting for their lives. We got some space. We got some ships. We got crash landing. We got some explosions. So,
Pretty much.
yeah, I feel like we got what we came for. And, yeah, that's where I'll go with
Cat
that.
owl. Exactly.
Cat now.
Cat owl.
Oscar the Theremin cat is here, everybody.
Yes, the little star.
Star.
Okay, so I thought this finale was okay. I thought it was fine. It's not going to like detract really. I think the show lost steam toward the end. I think the front half of it and the middle of it was really strong. I think the finale was a little bit too neat and it just wasn't really able to fulfill a lot of. It wasn't really able to. I didn't find it very interesting. Put it that way. It was kind of like a neat resolution, like to the issues. And as I mentioned for last episode, I didn't even feel really resolved when the parents and kids were reunited. So it kind of felt like there was not really an ending. I'm also.
Would you feel? Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say I also am not sure. Like I hope to see more of Jod's story because I feel like his character arc was disappointing, but which is diegetically disappointing, which doesn't mean it's bad writing. It just I was coming to like Jod, and so I just wished that I had more of a reason to like him toward the end. It's okay that I didn't, but my biggest, and I feel like I say this for every finale, like almost every finale we've covered, I feel like there was too much action, and that made the episode more boring for me. And I think also it made the music more boring to have so much action. This episode didn't stand out as much as previous episodes for me. Relied on lots of ostinato, just like kind of trying to keep things moving, and that's where a composer's skill level compared to John Williams stands out the most is in action writing, I think, because lots of composers in Star Wars have been able to write nice themes and pretty stuff and cool stuff, but when it comes to scoring huge action set pieces, that's where a lot of Star Wars composers, other than John Williams, tend to fall short in my eyes.
Because they just end up writing like kind of repetitive things. Yeah, repetition and kind of like just like what's the word? Static music. That's a really interesting point about Jod. Like, yeah, he kind of just was an asshole the whole show, and then ended up being an asshole. Like in the last episode, you know what I mean? Like he didn't really learn anything. He just tried to do the thing that he was there to do and then failed, and then that's what happened to John, which is
I don't know. I kind of liked that. I'm into villains that end up villains, and I didn't need a redeeming arc for him. I almost didn't need his little backstory. It almost would have been cool to like still have that be a bit of a mystery, a little bit kind of a thing. I mean, it explained a lot, kind of a thing. He's like he got half trained and whatever.
And we were kind of
a
right
thing,
about
but I kind of
our guesses about him.
I kind of like though that he started as kind of a jerk, and we kind of grew to trust him, but we never really trusted him. And then in the end, like no, he was a villain. He was like off to do his thing, but in that same sense, he his little arc of like mini arc, let's say, mini bump kind of a thing would have been like, at any point he could have shot all of them and he would have succeeded in everything.
Yeah,
That he had some kind of a heart in that sense where he was like, I can't just murder these children. Even he was like, I don't want to hurt anybody. I just want to be rich, kind of a thing. But I have to get what I want to do. And he got to the point where he's like, now I have to kill these kids. Am I above that or below that kind of a thing? And he's like, screw it, I'm done. There's what's going to happen, I kind of liked that personally. But I hear what you're saying. Oh, go ahead.
No, you're wrapping up. Keep going.
No, I was going to move on to Chrysanthe's comment on the action scoring and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
I
I
would
was just
agree
gonna add that I like that Jod,
No,
that
no, go ahead.
Jod, or that Wim at the very end is like, Jod, as the elevator doors open, kind of, or as the elevator doors were closing, kind of almost being like,
Mm-hmm.
Jod, but you're like part of our crew. Like, even though you betrayed us continually, like, I feel like that's what he was kind of communicating then. He's like, come with
Mm-hmm.
us.
Yeah.
Right,
So I
and
don't know.
Jod
I
kind
think
of
that's
gave him
kind of
this like,
interesting. I liked that.
yeah, Jod kind of gave him this look of like, really? No, I'm gonna stay here.
Yeah. I mean, kids are so forgiving.
Mm-hmm.
I also particularly liked the part where when the barrier was destroyed and the lighting suddenly became super ridiculously stark white, and Jod
Mm-hmm.
looked older and ghostier, and it's almost like he was always that way. But then when you look at him under this really harsh light, you see this side of him that was there always. It's just before it wasn't as easy to see because we were in the muck of the galaxy. It was kind of interesting.
And that was a cool sound moment too, when all the lights were going out and it was like quiet. We heard all
Yeah,
the powering
I,
down. That was cool.
we'll talk about that
Mhm.
later. I'm gonna pull up the sonic visualizer we did for the
Ah,
Palpatine
cool.
dubstep,
Nice.
dubstep fart. The same thing, but we'll look at. I've got three I want to show because something I did enjoy, even though it was very action heavy. Absolutely, Xanthe, they gotta throw in all the stops at the end, kind of a thing. Let's pad out this ending. I think that the sound design in this episode, going from the TV to my studio with a subwoofer to my headphones, was just, I was having so much fun just listening. I loved the fact that we get a chance to just listen without watching when we're working with this for these streams, and it really just brings out all this absolutely fantastic, very visual sound design. You can very clearly see the things. I mean, and having just watched the episode, but
Yeah. No, that'll be cool to do. His lightsaber sound, I still really like it. Jod's, yeah. It's an interesting one.
Yeah, and I just to close up with Jod, it's he didn't get his like Long John Silver moment at the end where like Long John Silver like escapes ultimately on a rowboat, right? Like to go and swindle another day, which is he's kind of just captured. You'd almost expect him to like get away or something, but yeah, I think this also kind of boils into that whole thing we were saying. It's just like this. The ending is just he's left so many like, I guess they're not really loose threads because the story is over, but it's just things that you normally expect to be tied up at the end of a show like this, unless they have like plans to tell us more at some point. So I don't know.
I think the nature of why At-Aten, I think the mystery of At-Aten is the biggest thing that was perhaps teased and that maybe I missed.
Yeah.
I'll also say that the parents in this episode still mostly disappointed me.
Yeah.
Like the dialogue with the parents and stuff.
yeah,
It was okay.
it was fine.
I just had a hard time sussing out what was going on between like Farah and her mom. Wait, no. Farah's the mom. What's her
Fern
name?
and Farah.
Fern and Farah.
Fern and
There you
Farah.
go. Fern and Farah. still didn't really see anything about KB or Neil's parents interacting with them, which is
I
fine.
was gonna say I was really disappointed that we mostly focused on Wim's dad and Fern's mom. Not that I didn't want to see more of them, but I really wanted to know more about KB's parents, and I really wanted to know more about Neil's family. He has a dad there with tusks and stuff who doesn't do much, just other than be there. And I don't know. We had a little bit with his mom. It would have been kind of interesting to see them come back and participate a little bit more with what was going on.
Yeah. We have so many comments that we could get to as well. People commenting on what we've been saying. Okay. Let me go in order a little bit. I'm hungry. We are all hungry. We only get scraps of Star Wars shows. That's funny because I just recently saw Nosferatu, where it's like, he has the appetite.
Oh, so good.
I want to see it.
Oh,
It's
I
a
loved
wild
it.
movie.
Oh, you haven't seen it, Christina? Okay.
I loved it.
I am hungry.
I think I won't say that on the stream. Never mind. I'll text you after. It was a fun ending, abrupt ending, but on second watch, I realized that they can't go forward with the story without going into a new story. Yeah, and that's fair. And I actually I do like that they didn't have an epilogue to keep, because it keeps things a little bit more open. I do wonder if there's going to be books addressing Jod or anyone else.
Well, I think Atten is going to fund the First Order.
Oh well,
Yeah, I mean,
it might.
That's how,
Right for
that's
that.
how Snoke gets his golden robes.
I think it's
John
more
becomes
interesting.
Snoke, didn't we say?
Oh, that's funny.
I think it's more interesting having a more mysterious ending to Jod, where you don't know what he is going to do next. Yeah, I don't mind that either.
I
It's
want
just
to
that
know
I want
every
more of
answer
Jod now.
ever.
I want to know where he grew up. We never did,
It has to be after Order 66 because Jod was trained by a hunted Jedi. Yeah, and obviously there were details that did place it in a time, so it couldn't have been, with the details they gave, it couldn't have been any time, but they could have taken those details out and it probably still could have been a similar show, I think. So, yeah. I mean, I think if they reverse engineered having to do a show that took place around the same timeline as the Mandoverse, that could have given them the idea to have a planet that was hidden. It could have been what made Atten interesting, but I don't know their process.
Oof. I hope that there isn't some thing in the future where it's like, we need to get some cash for Grogu, to get a new thing, and then I know just where to stop, and they it's that, and all the kids are in the same spot coincidentally when they come there.
They're
and
working at the casino.
Yeah, you know what I mean.
It's like
It's just
Canto
I hope
Bite.
that they don't do some cheesy thing. I mean, I have to say the way the Mandalorian has been going these last season, they would that's the way they
They're not
would
above it.
include them. You
No,
know?
they would do it.
They would absolutely
I
do it.
mean, yeah.
And they'd be really proud of themselves.
Yeah, they'd be like, oh my god,
Yeah.
you have. And the internet would be excited for exactly 15 minutes, and then it would wear off.
Which celebrity cameo would we have on Atten?
Yeah.
That'd been
Then
there the
we would
entire
also
time?
have,
Stephen Fry himself would just be there, the entire time.
Or Lizzo would be there.
Matthew says, explaining how
Ariana
Atten
Grande.
adapts into the larger galaxy is opening a whole can of worms. It's better to focus the story on the kids and with Wim looking up into the sky. I think you're right.
I agree.
I think you're right. Yeah. Because, of course, what I want isn't necessarily what is the best thing to have. The soundtrack was released and the tracks' names are hilarious. Yeah, following the
really are.
lineage
I've been looking at
of
them.
Michael Giacchino. I looked on the credits of some of the track names, and it says that Michael Giacchino produced it. So I don't know what that means. Both of their names are listed. So I wonder if, God, I would love the opportunity to talk to Mick and ask what the process is like. Like maybe the score was produced like at his dad's whatever studio or something. Was he able to use his dad's like team of people or something? I don't know how like score programmers. I'm not sure. But I would, yeah. What does it mean for someone to have produced something? I'd like a season
could have
two.
I
been-
like the Jod God references in the soundtrack
Oh yeah.
names. There's a couple Jod for God plays on words. I think that's funny.
What were you saying, Justin?
Um,
I was saying what exactly.
oh,
does a producer-
the produce thing kind of a thing. It could have been like a supervision kind of a thing, or just like an overall guidance. I mean, we see that with like the one I always think about in that example is like the first Pirates of the Caribbean soundtrack was written by Klaus Badelt, but was musically supervised and produced by Hans Zimmer. And once it became a hit, all of a sudden Hans Zimmer's writing all the music to all the rest of the movies, kind of a thing. Because I was pretty sure the composer was part of remote control music, kind of a thing.
Yeah.
So it could have been like he produced it, like either he paid for it or he was like, you can use these things. This is how it should sound. More of this, more of that, you know. Quite possible.
Yeah, remote control is Hans Zimmer's company. Oh, okay. Here's a directly addressing this. Mick said in an interview that he did ask his dad's opinion of some of his cues, but I have no idea what Michael's role was beyond that. Yeah, fair. Yeah, I would. I'm curious now, like, does anyone know, maybe someone in chat knows, does Mick have like a primary instrument, or did he grow up performing on a specific instrument, like taking lessons or something, or did he go straight into composing? Growing up, being able to go to scoring sessions would have been amazing.
I might be able to ask somebody for you. Oddly, funny enough, I actually met Mick without realizing who he was at a my partner's mutual friend's pop-up fairy house thing, the Fairy Place by Siersha. Awesome, go check it out. That's my plug for them. But I met him without realizing we were talking about, you're a composer, I'm a composer, like one of those things. And it wasn't until I left I was like, oh, that Mick kind of a thing. So I don't know. Let me see if I can talk to see if anyone if he's willing to talk to us.
That would be cool. I'd like a season
funny.
2, but we would be happy with Jod and the kids popping up in other projects. Jod was a villain, but not completely evil. He didn't want the kids or parents to die, and it pains him when they think KB died. I liked that moral gray. Yeah, he really didn't want to destroy things. He just wanted the money. Yeah, he is greedy, but not evil. He kind of connected to the kids. They filmed a flashback of a young Jod with his Jedi Master, but the showrunner said that they wanted to focus on the kids, and the flashback didn't work. Again, I think that's probably a good decision. Jod also lacked the sympathetic aspects of the Long John Silver character.
Yeah.
What are the sympathetic aspects of the Long John Silver character?
I'm wondering that too.
In what way is Long John Silver sympathetic? I mean, he's funny. He's entertaining.
He liked the-
and if
he
he's
liked
played
the kid.
by what's his name, Tim Curry, and
Tim
Muppet
Curry,
Treasure
and there's
Island,
Muppets everywhere, right?
He's quite endearing, but I don't think anything about his actual character is like sympathetic, right? I mean, does he have any backstory that I'm not aware of that is like, oh, poor Long John Silver, he had a tough lot in life. I think he just is he just a scoundrel
really likes,
pirate that deceives everybody and goes and gets treasure? Isn't that like what his whole thing is?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't really
I think he
remember.
just really liked the kid, and the kid saw him as a father figure, and that made some decisions more difficult.
Okay.
I think that's what it was.
It's a very low bar, but
Still a scoundrel. Yeah, still a scoundrel.
Right.
Still
But
played
that's
a
not
lot
really
of people,
sympathetic.
but-
That's just like
it's just like
that's not sympathetic.
minor
That's like
redeeming qualities.
that's like our redeeming quality. Yeah, maybe.
it's one good thing.
Yeah.
Also, the dad was carrying 2 of the kids in one scene, and they disappeared in the next scene. I didn't even notice that.
Or did somebody make a wicked for Treasure Island, but instead of
It's
like
from Long John Silver's point of
reframing the
view.
Wicked Witch of the Witch, it's like it's called like scurvy or something.
Pretty good
Soggy.
name. That's pretty solid.
That would be really funny. Like a sympathetic backstory for Long John Silver in a musical form. Anyway, or it's just called Long.
He could have taken hostages,
I'll
but
stop.
instead
Silver.
threw away his blaster as soon as the barrier opened. I think
Silver.
he's relieved to get rid of his
Silver the
pirate life.
musical.
I wonder if Jod thinks this is like his one last job or something. I didn't actually notice that he threw away his blaster, or I didn't.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't, or I didn't
He
feel
threw
that
it
it was
down.
impactful. I didn't understand the impact of it because he could still presumably get a weapon anywhere. But I
I
think,
think it was I'm not going to kill you. I'm defeated. It's like
oh,
I
okay,
could
I see.
at any point I could have shot you. I should have shot you, but you know what? I can't do it. I'm done. I'm not getting out of this alive if I do that.
I think
kind of a
KB's
thing.
parents and Neil's parents weren't seen much because they got along with their kids. There was more conflict between Wim and Fern and their parents that needed to be resolved.
Yeah.
I think that's a fair explanation, but okay. Do you think conflict between Wim and Wendell and Fern and Farah was resolved? Wendell had a moment where he cheered because had a good speeder moment, hover bike moment.
Yeah.
Does that mean that their conflict? I mean, I guess he then supported his son in doing
Just-
the mission, so sort of.
Just because they needed to be resolved doesn't mean they got resolved. It's just more drama there.
No, we could have added that also within the story of KB. Her parents could have been like helicopter parents in that sense of like, oh, don't go do this. Oh, don't go do that. Oh, we never let you go anywhere because we're so worried about what might happen to you. That could have been. And KB got her little moment at the end there when she's like full throttle, boom, which she was scared of in the very first episode when Fern was like, I'm gonna go full throttle. She's like, no, don't do it. So she got her little bit right there.
I didn't understand Farah's deal. I couldn't tell if she was playing it like she's brainwashed by the supervisor stuff, and so she's actually playing by the rules, or if she was like, no, I'm on your side, Fern. Let's just play nice, but I have a bigger idea in mind. I think because we saw so little of the parents and what their strategizing was like, I did not understand the dynamic between Fern and Farah when they were in the tower together.
I think Farah, the way I read it is that Farah and really everybody on Atten has been so used to following order, following very, very strict things. There's an authority protocol, there's authority hierarchy, there's safety, there's droids, there's no pain. I mean, there's pain, but you know what I mean. There's no conflict, there's no things, and all we have to worry about is being safe from the outside world and doing the great work. And when finally faced with my daughter is gone and there's nothing we can do kind of a thing. And I mean, we saw in that one episode how bad they were with trying to be sneaky because they probably never had to do that in their entire life. So she was, I don't want to call her spineless, but like, I think she had a moment of like, what do? I just want to keep myself, my world, and my kids safe,
So do you think in those scenes in the tower, she was mostly just trying to play by the rules and not?
I think she was trying to do everything that Jod wanted her to do so that she and her own would be safe, and had to work up the courage to actually do something, which
Yeah,
was,
I think I'm disappointed. I think I'm disappointed by the parents' lack of an arc. Their like they've been following the great work. They've been like devoted to this whole whatever's going on at Atten. But then their kids disappear, which should be that should be extremely traumatizing and life-changing. And the way that Wendell is like business as usual, like now that you got your joyride out of the way, like kind of belittling this thing that has just happened, which seemed like it should have been a really big deal. and made them question their faith in the great work and everything that they're doing. Like I
But
would
they believed Jod. They believed Jod, and they believed it was they're gullible. This random person came down and said, "Hey, I'm an emissary." And they're like, "Okay, great. You got our kids back. So sorry. They're in trouble. Oh, we're so sorry. We're so sorry." Back to business as usual because they just that's all they've
that was
known.
upsetting to me.
You know?
Yeah,
They
and
They
it's
don't know any
especially
other business.
it's especially interesting because they were kind of on an arc of kind of, they did that whole thing to put that transmission out to find them. And then they kind of just went back to, they fell right back in line as soon as Jod came down, right? Like it seemed like they were in a place of actually. Sorry, did we see what happened to the parent? Didn't they get captured for putting that transmission out?
I don't actually know. You mean at the
Yeah,
beginning?
because they all got
episode 7?
stunned. They all got stunned in the forest.
Oh, I don't think we ever saw what actually happened to them after that.
Yeah, then they're just randomly going down there to go meet their, right? Then I'm a little fuzzy on that. So they all get stunned in the forest, but they don't get like arrested or anything like that.
I thought one of
I guess
I didn't. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I guess they.
I don't
woke
know,
up.
right? Because the next thing that we see is them meeting Jod with them in the last episode. But we don't. Do we know? Or maybe I'm missing something. Like, do we? Or maybe I'm forgetting something.
Honestly,
I'm
I
trying to-
don't know.
No, I don't think we actually saw anything. That's what it's
Okay.
my one other complaint about this show is that there's a lot of plot and things that happen off screen, and then we just see the resolution of it. It happens almost every episode. It's like we're gonna do this thing, and then it's like you jump forward 5 minutes in the next scene. And you're like, oh, we did the thing. It's like, how did you do the thing? Like, what happened? It's like that doesn't matter.
Right.
Keep going. Like for example,
Gotta
Jod
put
getting
back in
captured by that rival group, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, I'm here, and I saved the day with all the EOPs kind of a thing. Like for example, it's like we didn't see any of that. It just happened.
I
Yeah.
remember it now. I not remember. I'm watching it. No, they are up in like the. They're talking to the security droid after they get stunned in the forest, and then they're like, the security guard is like interrogating them, and I guess from there is when they go down to the vault. Yeah.
Oh,
Anyway,
okay.
But anyway, yeah, I thought that was strange. It with Wim's dad. It's like they're not. It didn't seem like they'd had a conversation where like he's like, so what happened to you while you were in freaking outer space for the last like week or whatever,
Yeah.
right? Like there wasn't like a conversation about that. He was just like, oh, you didn't learn anything from your little joy ride? It's like,
Yeah,
bro,
like,
I was off of the
These
planet
kids'
for a week.
attachment styles are going to be so messed up from this.
I love the microwave though. Their little
the microwave's
microwave,
great.
the microwave.
Yeah, and he's like a home cooked meal. Nothing like a home cooked meal.
Bet you miss these. It's like no.
Yeah, but you miss me zap frying your dinner for you.
Yeah.
I felt
Dad,
so-
I had lobster guts on my first day out. Lobster gut soup.
Live lobster gut soup.
Yeah, AurekFonts says it seems like there may have been a deleted scene. Yeah, it feels like there may have been some deleted stuff.
A lot.
Which is
It
weird.
almost feels like.
It's
I mean, they
To
kept
me,
the
it makes
episodes pretty short,
sense.
which, yeah.
It's
Hi,
just
Coyote.
like they got put back in line, done. That's what they
Yes,
do.
yeah.
They just go back in line and they do what they do. And it's a very controlled society. Nothing ever happens. They're always protected. You do something bad, you get stunned,
Yeah.
you wake up
But the
in your
thing
bed
is-
the next morning.
I think they
With
could
a
have
note.
earned more direction
Yeah.
in that because they set it up really well. How controlled everything is, like what they, unlike the relationships between the parents and kids, which wasn't set up very well, they did set up the strictness of living on At-Atten very well. So it would have read anyway. It would have
Yeah.
been impactful if they were going against it more. Anyway, glad you could join us, Coyote. let's see. A few more things. Didn't he have a backstory that detailed what went down in his childhood? Yeah, that too. He might have wanted the One Piece, but he didn't know about the Crystal of the Founders. Okay. Oh, we're talking about the One Piece. Yes, I need to finish that at some point. Or even finish like
Good luck.
any season of it. The conflict that resolved in one episode that was in there. Farah probably lived her whole life under the barrier to protect, so raising the barrier would be a threat to the outside. Oh, to the outside world. Huh. Not to the inside of the barrier? I mean, I guess it would, either way, it might disrupt the ecosystem.
Yeah,
a
they
threat,
have like
like
a
the threat of
galaxy's
the
worth
outside world.
of.
Oh, from,
galaxy's
sorry,
worth of,
there was a correction right after that. Okay.
Oh, okay,
A threat
okay.
from the outside world. Yes, for sure. Yeah, the parents get arrested. Okay.
It's kind of interesting that these people basically have been living with the aurora borealis completely covering their entire planet to the point where it's actually refreshing when it's not there.
Yeah, I know.
Seeing
They,
stars.
like we would
'cause
show
of
them
the-
the aurora borealis on Earth. They'd be like, okay, that's
Ours
pretty
is
much what
bigger.
the sky looks like.
Yeah. Yeah. Or that thing in
But yeah,
Andor,
I like that moment where they're looking up and like, oh my god, look at all these stars. You know, that's kind of a cool moment.
Yeah, I really liked that moment. I think Fern's mom wanted to keep her kid protected from the galaxy in a literal bubble, which I think was a commentary on the suburbs. She finally lets go and lets the galaxy in. I mean, yeah, that part, I saw the growth for sure. Supervisor said he'd looked after them for generations. Long John Silver was sympathetically portrayed by Robert Newton in the 1950 Disney version, gave his lust for treasure a joyful spin, and was tempered by his parental mentor affection for young Jim Hopkins. Looking forward to season 2 and finding out what happens with Akron. Gosh, we have tastes for lobster guts in the chat.
Yum.
You can't forever keep kids safe by keeping them sheltered in the suburbs or just sheltered in general. Eventually, kids will leave the home and into the greater world / galaxy. That is so true. So do you want to talk about the music?
Oh yeah.
Probably.
Yeah. Should we do quiz style or should we like kind of just talk about it all? Because we're kind of recapping the whole show. Quiz?
Quiz.
I think it's always fun to start with
Quiz.
quiz. That way
Okay.
we don't accidentally talk about a fun part before someone gets to do their exam,
Yeah,
feel
their exam.
thunder.
Yeah, their assessment. Okay, well,
I like the quizzes because lately I haven't been doing any preparation for these shows, and so it's a nice way for me to like actually like literally
You're reminded.
guess
It's like a
things.
lesson.
Yeah, yeah, it's nice for me, you know.
I need to get like a thing that pops up that says audio quiz. Anyway, this is audio quiz time.
Yay.
So for anyone new here, we will take turns, or probably Justin and I will take turns playing our own recreations.
This season's been you and me, Xanthi.
Yeah, of music or sounds from the episode, and everyone in the chat and the
Hey, I'm
rest
wearing
of the
the
band
T-shirt,
batch
guys. Okay,
can try to
Yeah,
I'm
guess
doing my part. You know,
And
where we might have heard it.
I have an example today.
Oh, Christina! Yes. Why don't you go first?
Ooh, you go first then.
wow, I'm a real
Oh.
slacker.
Okay, and mine's always more comical than serious as usual. Yeah, so I'm gonna use my little slide whistle that I got at Guitar Center. They sell these with it's a lollipop, and if you eat the lollipop, there's a whistle inside.
Oh yeah.
But okay, so there's just. I'll do it one more time because you should be able to do that thing and do this. So.
Whoa,
great.
That was really awesome.
Oh man, is that one of the oh? Is that one of the
Is that the
speeder
supervisor?
bikes?
Is that one of the pirates? It's
Is it
not
an
one of the
at
pirates or
resident?
this.
It's an at resident. Resident? Is that what you just said? Oh, is it
Wait,
the
Is
dog?
it the one
can
with
you
the
make that sound
dog?
again?
It's the dog.
Oh.
Oh, that's fun. Where
So
do we
the
see the
dog
dog again?
had like two. It's like
11 something.
1150,
11:50 coming in.
and it has like a pitch thing going on. The higher part just actually just goes like it kind of increases in pitch.
Oh yeah.
That's really good, Christina.
That is
I'm
really
listening
good.
to it right now. That is like really good. Damn.
Yeah, I'm impressed.
Actually,
Oh,
yeah.
And it was the
It's
live
like they got like some
performance.
like vocoder or like harmonizer on the dog or something like that. But you're doing both the high pitch and the low pitch at the same time there.
Yeah.
It's kind of like some
It's a frog
singers
dog,
can
apparently.
do like multiphonics, which is so cool.
Mhm.
There's this great video of Layla Hathaway.
Oh,
If you know the singer, singing with Snarky Puppy. If you just
Yep.
Google Snarky Puppy Layla Hathaway, and there's like a part of her solo where she starts doing multiphonics, 2 notes at once, and she's like basically doing like what's harmonically happening in like the neo soul tune. It's like goes perfectly with the harmony, and it's so awesome.
good.
It's like one of my favorite videos. I'll tell everybody the name of it if I find it. Anyway, yeah, multiphonics
Something.
in the bark.
It's
Yeah.
the track. The track is called Something. A Snarky
Oh, it
Putty.
is, okay.
Snarky Puppy Family Dinner Volume 1 or 2. I love that.
I have put
know
links
that
in the
one.
chat.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Nice.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm gonna look that up. I haven't heard it.
Yeah.
It's so good. She's so good.
She's so good.
Well done, Christina.
Well done.
Thank you.
Okay, I'll go.
Star Wars.
Imagine it dispersed amongst woodwinds, though. Distributed amongst woodwinds. What? It's like,
One more time.
yeah, okay, let me give you a woodwind. No. Nope. It's getting worse and worse.
Um.
It's kind of perky. It's like the opening
Oh,
of Beethoven's Fifth.
Is it? No.
Happens at least twice.
Is this when Neil is on top of the roof going towards Chekhov's gun but not having activated it yet? It's like on the walkie-talkie going, almost there, or something like that.
What timestamp are you thinking of?
Oh, well, I mean, hold on. I mean, is that one of the 2 times that this comes in?
I just know that the second time I didn't write down in my computer notes, but I wrote it down on my, in my journal notes. Let's see. I'm zooming in.
Yeah, I did happen to just perfectly land on it. I think I feel like that is what. Yeah, it's like in the 16s.
Okay,
I don't remember.
I found it. I
Oh,
found the
no.
second time.
Dun, 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 dun.
Yeah, it's like speeder bike slash gun, trying to escape. on the ship.
What timestamp was that? Does anyone in chat know? Oh, bike race, someone says.
Is that what it is? Is them on the bikes?
I don't think so. But they're on bikes so often.
I feel like I hear it in the 1640,
Okay.
like, but there's like other stuff going on. It's just kind of like,
Okay, maybe. Let me 1640.
but I went there specifically because Justin said gun, and I wrote that they got to the school at 16. So my guess is definitely just a backup to Justin's guess.
It happens before 36 minutes, right?
Yeah, it happens like very early in the episode. Oh. I see what you're doing. Uh-huh. Yeah, it happens very early in the episode. And then it happens like smack dab in the middle of the episode.
Oh, okay, interesting.
After the
Well, I have to
opening
say
credits,
that
right?
a lot of this, like you mentioned, some of the music is somewhat similar
Repetitive.
to repetitive. So there is a spot later on where it's like dun 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 dun
Yeah.
dun 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 dun.
Yep.
That part. Isn't that a famous like piece of like opera or ballet or something? Dun 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 dun. It's like Mozart or something maybe. Or anyway.
Yeah, it's from the Nutcracker.
Nutcracker, right? Tchaikovsky.
Right?
Yeah. Dun, 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 dun. Yeah. Anyway, that's what I think it was.
Yeah.
Oh no, it's it's the Dance of the Sugar Plum Fairy movement, I think. Okay, I don't know. I think it's Nutcracker though. Okay, so it's when the thing is it might happen during the bike race. I just might not have noticed it. So I'll tell you where I've heard it, and then you can tell me if you also hear it in the bike race, and I believe you. It's when they are plotting on their walkie-talkies.
Oh.
Oh, okay.
And then, yeah.
Dun, 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 dun. Oh, okay. Yes.
And then it's also when Wim is like talking about the crystal of the founders. That whole thing.
Mm.
Yeah. So I think it's like associated with the kids kind of plotting. Yeah.
Nice.
Want to do?
That was
wanna-
funny. I did like. I saw a comment on Reddit or something that said like, you know, it's kind of ironic that you know, this is one of the few, if only, Star Wars shows in which, you know, how they described Mandalorian as being like, oh, it's like I get to play with my Star Wars action figures because they're just, it's a lot of cameos and there's a lot of like favorite characters that are all just kind of being smashed together in that sometimes haphazardly kind of silly way. Like, hey, Boba Fett is hanging out with Cad Bane and, you know, all this stuff, right? But and somebody said on Reddit, it's kind of ironic that this is the only show that actually has kids playing with action figures in it, and it's the one show that doesn't do that. You know,
Yeah.
like it doesn't just have. There wasn't a cameo. They made it the whole thing, and there wasn't like somebody that came in that we knew or something. You know,
The thing is, it would be lost on kids.
right. But yeah, I thought that was
Except
kind
as
of a
kid
fun.
celebrity.
Correct.
It was a fun
Maybe,
diversion that Wim did, where he was like, "Oh, I was just talking and playing with my toys." You know, that was
Yeah.
smart. That was smart. Good on you, Win.
Do you have
Good
one?
job, Win.
Are you gonna do the next question in the exam, Justin?
Sure.
It's your turn, Justin.
Let's see here. Hold on, let me make a fake brassy.
Oh yeah, we love that realistic brass.
Oh yeah. Is that coming through? I think. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's see if I can play this. Not a keyboardist, but let's see here. Yeah. One more time. Let me not fuck up here. Hold on.
you do it again? Anyone in
Yeah.
chat is welcome to guess.
Yeah.
Sorry, and it's brass?
Yeah, it's brass. Let's
Okay.
say French horns.
That's a fun little cue.
That is fun.
Yeah, right?
I have a guess.
Go ahead.
Is it when the New Republic ships come in at the end?
Kinda. On the right track.
Is it when they blow
It's like
up
yes
the
and
thing?
no. It's like yes and no.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like when they're
At the-
shooting. They're shooting at the pirates, right? It's like,
Yeah,
it's like,
yeah,
It's like
this is-
9 minutes and 5. And it's like, or sorry, it's like 30 minutes and 23 seconds or something like that.
It's
30
yeah.
minutes and-
This particular part is just before that,
29:48.
around 29:48. This is when the X-wings specifically are being, we're going in, you know, doing their thing, and this big kind of
job, I
triumph.
guess.
Boom, 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 ba, ba, da, dum, ba,
Yeah,
dum.
there's like a
Kinda
duet
little-
going on with the brass too.
It's like
cool.
a
There's
cannon
like
or
multiple-
something, or
Yeah.
there's
Yeah.
multiple. Yeah, it's doing a
It's a
fanfare. For sure.
contrapuntal achievement.
Yes.
The
That is funny,
skeleton
like-
fugue.
In isolation, without hearing the other trumpet, it does sound pirate related.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But it is like a fanfare in like a pirate meter.
Well, it reminds me. It's got some. It's got Rise of the Resistance vibes, in my opinion. It's got it's like that triumphant minor thing going on. You know, it's like in a minor key, but it's somehow like, not somehow, but it's just surprisingly positive sounding, optimistic sounding, even though it's minor.
And that
Yeah,
could-
it's got this
peppy.
heroic.
Yeah, it has a heroic sound to it. It could be. It evokes heroic deeds,
Yeah.
and it's
Yeah, I
fast.
really liked that little melody there. It's fun.
Yeah. We get another fanfare like a minute and a half earlier. That sounds much more tense.
By tense, do you mean like slow and serious, or do you mean
Um, I mean, there's like violins at the same time going like doing tense, ostinato type of,
Yeah.
and it's like, yeah.
Mhm.
And then the strings go like they're like.
There are a lot of cool little string sound effects in this
For sure.
episode.
Yeah, this wasn't even an example, but the strings just like go higher until they turn the barrier off. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right, what's next?
Okay, here is etc. It's low strings, so imagine maybe an octave lower. Sorry.
Ah, yes, this is string ostinato 15. Classic.
It's not quite ostinato though. Like I thought it was.
String line.
I know. Like
string
a lot
line
of the
number
examples are
15 in
like
the-
that to the point where I don't even
I was gonna
know
say I've
which
got an
one.
example later that's like very similar, and I'm like, I don't know which one.
Okay.
He did a lot of that. He did a lot of that in this episode.
I think this one is different though. Like it's not like
It's not like the other ones. This one is.
yeah. This one in this there's not like a single bar that is repeated.
Is this is when KB is doing something, right? It's like when she's like fixing her ship or something, or she's trying to fix her ship. It's in the sky. It's in the ship's falling, right?
Nope.
Ooh, then there's something
have a
similar that
guess.
happens there. Yeah, it's pretty similar.
that
If you listen at
11
like
then-ish?
2410, there's like something similar, but it's in the high strings.
Oh.
2410.
Yeah.
what I'm talking about?
Okay. There, it's in a duple meter, and the one I'm thinking of is like triplets. It.
Got it. Can you play it again for us?
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. That's really funny. I didn't hear it as that when you played it first time. I was hearing 1 and 2 and 1. I was just like, I wasn't
Oh,
metering
interesting.
it that way.
Yeah, because the example that you're thinking of later is like digga 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 digga.
Okay. I don't know. I don't know this one.
I'll give you a hint.
But that
It abruptly cuts off.
I mean, I guess that's a pretty good hint. What is that when
Are there
like
bells going on?
I don't know. There's pizzicato going on.
It's not the one that I'm thinking of, I don't think.
No, no bells. It's all string.
what happens that it gets abruptly? Is it when Neil shoots that thing?
Oh,
Nope. I will tell you the
Is
answer.
this leading? Is this?
is it when the lever gets pulled?
leading up to the lever getting pulled?
You mean when they're turning the barrier off?
Yeah.
Right, like
Yeah, that
up to
lever.
that point where they're fighting for the lever.
No. No. Coyote
Do
said.
both of you say lever instead of lever?
Yes.
Or were you just
Lever.
aping
say
Christina there?
Yeah, well, you know.
Are you? What do you say, Xanthi?
I think I say lever, but I'm
I
not
think I
sure
say
now
lever,
because now I'm
too.
thinking about it too much.
Because obviously the only pronunciation of the word is pull the lever.
Okay, I'm going to tell you the answer, and it's the power out, being out.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
It's about at
okay.
11:02 or something.
I was gonna guess that too.
Well, that is what I was guessing.
But I
by
didn't.
11.
Oh wait,
Yeah.
was it?
You hit it from us.
So, okay,
But
let's just talk
then I
about something for a
unconvinced
second.
myself.
Oh, you did. Oh, okay.
Well, this is a really an interesting little line, huh? So it's very chromatic. Da-do-da. Yeah.
Yeah, it's very chromatic, and it continues doing more chromatic stuff.
Well,
It
actually,
goes higher.
I might
and then-
even say, let's see. This is actually a. Oh no, this isn't chromatic. Actually, this is a diminished scale.
Oh, sure.
This is half step, whole step scale. It's half step, whole step, half step, whole step.
Yeah, so it's an octatonic thing.
Octatonic, right? So for non-music folks, if you go on a piano and you take one note and you go up exactly one note higher,
Sorry.
and then exactly two notes higher, and then go exactly one note higher, and then exactly two, and just alternate doing that, you create a scale called an octatonic scale, which is a specific scale used in. It's used quite a lot in jazz actually, but
It's used
what
quite a lot in Star
Messiaen used to
Wars.
use it a lot, right? But yeah, that's cool. That's a cool, and it's a pretty like, I'd say it's not especially tonal, like indicating. So in a setting like this, it sounds kind of tense and angsty, if you will. So
Your turn, Justin.
fun. Well, I want to comment a little bit on this freaking supervisor thing.
Okay.
Which is
Comment
how
on it.
Star Wars is it for an entire planet to have its like whole power grid, everything that revolves around this one droid with zero redundancy. Like, you know what I mean? Like zero. Like all you have to do is just zap his eye with a lightsaber, and the entire planet goes down. There's and the only thing that they have to prevent this are a bunch of like droids with cameras for heads, right? That like that like
Are
hold,
linked
that
to
also,
him.
which I always find like droids that have to hold weapons really funny, because it's like you could have just made the droid have a weapon attached to its body, like, you know what I mean? Like, but the fact that they still
you're
has to
committed
like
to it.
anthropomorphically like hold the gun. Anyway, point being is like there's no like, to my knowledge, there didn't seem to be any like lasers that came down to like any type of like. There was no security on the thing that is running the entire planet.
You
just
think
destroy
there'd be like
it
a
and
backup
everything's
drive or something, you know?
There
Or
has
like a
to
little
be.
like R2 unit like pops out of the back of the supervisor and scurries off, kind of a thing, as like a little like that is the supervisor. It's just this little like R2 unit.
Remember in the Phantom Menace when all the droids are deactivated at once because the control command center is blown up? It's like, oh,
None of the other
And of
blockade
course-
ships,
and of
but
course, all
but
you
that
have to
one
do
in
to blow up the
particular.
ship is shoot one particular part of the ship, you know, and the whole thing goes up, you know.
also to be fair, it also worked for like 1,000 years. Okay, fair.
Yeah.
Fair point.
Yeah, I'm just saying, it's very Star Wars. It's kind of like design is not, and redundancy and safety or anything is never, you know.
If you shoot the lock and the door opens, shoot the lock and the door closes, shoot the lock and
that's right.
then
It's just a toggle situation.
shoot the thing, and it locks and then it unlocks.
Switch the power back. Yeah.
Oh man.
It's true.
Okay, I got one. Well, actually, I'm gonna do a mini one and then one, because the one that you were thinking about, James, was the ostinato thing was going to be one of my examples, because there was like 20 of these in there. So the one that when KB is like trying to fix things, it's like this. It's all strings, double tremolo, double tongued in Flute World, but tremolo, double tremolo, or whatever. And it just goes on and on and on and on. And it just goes on, and it's higher and higher. So that's the KB one,
interesting.
which is
Did you write that down, Justin?
uh-huh.
Can you show us the notes real quick?
My embarrassing little notes here, right there.
So let's see.
That's backwards, I think, but no.
C, C,
D.
B, C, E.
Oct. Yep.
Another octatonic scale, right?
Yep.
Interesting. So it's in the same.
Octatonic.
So that's interesting, and that because it's, again, for folks that are like, you know, I know sometimes people are like, dude, I wish we could follow what you're saying, but you're doing too many, you know, music terms.
Yeah.
But just so everyone knows, like, it's basically like using like the same musical language for both of these cues, which is
And many cues, which maybe is one reason it all sounds the
sounds the same.
same.
Well, it's like in these action scenes, it's like one of the like I want to call it like a film score trope, and especially with scores like this, hailing back to early John Williams, Spielberg scores and that kind of stuff, is you have a lot of action, and every now and then you throw in the main melody in some kind of like brief little sense, and that happened a lot in this episode. There are times like, oh, what if one of my examples was like the time when one of the main melodies comes in, but it always like dun 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 dun, and it gets all dissonant at the end. He did that like 3 or 4 times in this one. I feel like, or just like little hints on top of these like ostinato moments, a whole bunch. But anyways, okay, so here's the real example. Here's a fun little low ball for y'all. The flute should just give it away as it is, but
Do it again.
3, 4.
Xanthe, we cannot hear you.
Oh.
I'll back up.
I could kind of hear.
Well, yeah, very, 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 very.
There it is.
There it is.
Ah, that's better.
It says this is a grand piano, and it lies.
It's like it's a Grand Electric. It's like strings behind it, isn't it? Like,
Everything I press is that sound.
oh no.
Oh, good. Oh, there we go. This is Dancy Hook. It's definitely not Dancy Hook. But anyway, okay. Let's do it again, Justin.
All right.
It's real pretty.
Yo, all I'm
Yeah, pretty.
saying is, I bet to all you in the audience, I bet there's no other YouTuber what you're watching that plays piano and flute duets of the Star Wars scores that you love on the YouTube. You know, 4 days after the episode airs, nobody else is doing it like us. You know,
No.
just
Thank
No one
you,
busts out
James.
a candy slide whistle and imitates a dog
Yeah, that's
perfectly,
right.
an alien dog perfectly. I mean, like,
that's right.
this is quality YouTube, y'all.
No one's cat plays theremin.
That's right.
Yeah.
I guarantee there hasn't been a single. I guarantee there's not a single Star Wars YouTuber on the internet that used the word octatonic scale in their YouTube review of this episode this week.
I don't
guarantee it.
know. Okay, maybe.
You think so? That'd be funny if yeah, possible.
Oh, did I make a?
James, you your meta comments. That's like the Thrawn of you. It's
Of
like
me just-
Christina and I are going to mention Thrawn at some point. You're going to make a meta commentary about the Band
About
Batch
what's
and Star Wars
happening
music.
on
minute.
our
Yeah, you're like you like step
ridiculously
outside
show
and you
that we
like do
have.
comment.
I like
Yeah,
to
it's like
comment
you-
on how hilarious our show is. Anyway,
And then I just get like flustered, and then I'm like, no.
yeah, exactly. Doesn't like compliments. Yeah, there's some interesting conversation going on in the in the chat that
Yeah.
I'd love to kind of unpack in terms of the directions of notes and kind of there's two different, what do you call it, thoughts on that, right? Which is you can like literally Mickey Mouse what's going on in a scene, or kind of portray
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
something different, you know, like, yeah. What are your thoughts on that, Xanthe?
First, I think, okay, Icarus, can you give us a timestamp? Oh, found it. Okay, 3113. Great. So first, this is like, obviously there's no one right way to score something. So like, shouldn't the notes go down when the ship goes down? I mean, not necessarily. It depends on many things, like where the focus of the scene is, what you've heard before, if it's supposed to be like more of a grand moment, because it might be more appropriate to have like a bigger theme. There's just many reasons, but also scoring, creating music for film and TV is subjective. However, there are some trends that have, some trends and practices that have emerged over the past, century of the moving of talkies, of having music to film. And one of them is Mickey Mousing. So I'll popcorn someone else explain Mickey Mousing.
Well, the idea is that, if you watch an old Mickey Mouse cartoon, you notice that the music like really goes directly with all the actions that are happening on screen. When a door gets shut, there might be a big loud hit that goes right with the loud door that gets shut. There might be, the music might even be like directly on pace with their walking. It's really goes hand in hand with the animation that's on screen, which is one way. But there's also, that also creates like a very like literal approach to the score, and sometimes that can take you out if something is like really directly scored to a moment, it can be distracting, because you're noticing it. You're like, wow, the music is really doing exactly what's happening here, and it can come off as kind of predictable and dare I say cheesy at times. So there's definitely like a, for something like this where it's so literal, the ship is going down, so let's make the notes go down, right? Could be effective, but it also could be it could also take you out because you're like, wow, that's kind of cheesy that they did that. Depends on how they did it, you know. So yeah, I wouldn't say that would be like, if I was composing the music to this, that I don't know if that would be like a hard and fast, like, oh well, I gotta make the notes go down, the ship's going down, you know. Like, I would say you can experiment with that and see if that gives you the effect that you want, right?
Totally.
Or you might find that there's some tension subconsciously in what you're watching because the notes are going up and there's an object going down. That actually might create a different type of effect if you're writing. If you're like, oh, interesting, I'm hearing this, and what I'm watching is actually something going down. There might be something that naturally feels wrong about that might actually create an effect that is interesting and maybe creates a desired effect of easiness, you know. So I don't know. There's a lot of ways you can do this, you know. So
An example of that is also, or of sort of not Mickey Mousing, but while sort of Mickey Mousing, would be like the ship is going down. So if you were to describe the ship, that would be you could do a Mickey Mouse going down, but people's emotions as they watch the ship going down are rising and they're about to start crying and be sad that their friend died. So there's also kind of a which particular part of the drama do you Mickey Mouse? And one of the reasons we use Mickey Mouse is because in the Mickey Mouse cartoons, it's really obvious what the focus is. There's not like a complicated background of stuff going on and all these different scenes that we're flashing between. It's like, there's Mickey. We know
Yeah.
whose
I would
movement
argue-
we're Mickey Mousing, whereas yeah.
I would argue that like if for example you are meant to feel actually really sad that the ship is going down and it's doing like some sort of like tragic other thing that is meant to make you feel sad, I would say that that's not Mickey Mousing. I would say that's just scoring the mood. Like I would say that's just normal scoring. Right. I think Mickey Mousing tends to be more physically related.
yeah, it would be like,
Or like you're walking and it's like
Yeah. yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
I mean, because a lot of cartoons were scored to music too. That's like, I'm thinking of Fantasia, the example I just sang, where the Sorcerer's Apprentice as a piece existed before Fantasia. But in Fantasia, you have Mickey and the brooms like going boom, 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 boom. Yeah. Anyway, that was a good question.
Yeah. Good question.
The thing I like about Jod's pirate theme there, what Justin played, as opposed to
Which has been this whole series, yeah.
it's like actually sad. It's like Jod, there's something really not evil about it. Like it's like Jod is defeated, his pirate thing failed, and it's not like his other theme. It sounds more grotesque, more villainous, and this one is just sad and defeated.
He's got and you notice when he's looking up at the ship, Jude Law, just give this man an Oscar for this show, like seriously, and this character. Like there's a lot of great moments in his character and acting in this episode, but you see just that slight little like looking up smirk kind of a thing of like accepting defeat. I got defeated by kids.
Yeah, I think he's
My
proud
pirate
of them.
crew is gone. I'm on to my next thing, kind of a thing. It was
Well,
like,
yeah, is he? Oh, I
Yeah,
guess
who knows?
listen. I don't know if those camera droids are going to be much able to actually put him into custody. You know. Yeah,
Yeah, maybe he'll just get a job as an analyst.
John, an analyst. That's a funny idea. Is this when John is looking out at the window at the ships crashing?
Yeah.
That was incredible acting from Jude Law with so many layers. Yep.
Yeah.
Camera droids are dead.
Well, they're deactivated. It's not to say that they're not going to reactivate everything.
No one's ever really gone. I mean, SM-33 was not dead after being decapitated.
Yeah.
Okay. Here's one.
The supervisor Chris.
Yeah, that's funny.
I don't have the timestamp, but I think this is when the pirates are attacking and they've landed and are doing their dirty deeds.
It's a good
You
guess.
mean the round 'em up moment?
It's a good guess.
And it might be right. I just want to hear more.
It might be right. It's a good guess. It might be right, might be wrong. What do you think, Oscar?
It's also like faster.
All right.
It's like
Got it. Yeah, I think it's when the pirates are attacking everyone.
yeah. I mean, you're right. It was a good guess, and it was correct.
When they're using their lasers.
Yep, and it's very loud. Like, yeah, it's like at 14:38. And before that, we get the main pirate theme with the tubular bell accents. It's just a neat little variant on the pirate theme.
There's a lot of those in this.
Yeah, there were.
Another like one I wrote down was hold on, it's like on the low strings, like
Yeah.
right over the time, and then the big theme would come in on top of that. That was another one. That was, I think, when Judd's like, begin the invasion.
Yep. That's what we have here.
John, take the wheel.
And then we also
Take the
get
wheel.
yes, Icarus
In John
and
we
Matthew.
trust.
You're completely right. Yeah, so this is the pirate invasion, and then we get like just like a drum loop, I guess. That is like the beat is like.
Yeah, I
James,
really
play
gotta
that real
start-
quick.
I really,
That'll be your
I really
example.
got to start preparing for these shows, man.
Yeah, because
No,
you're
no,
like,
James, play it real quick. Go grab something.
gotta-
we
James
didn't
is
hear
saying
anything.
that- look,
You have anything
we
better
can
than a hand
handle the
clap?
percussion.
Oh yeah, yeah, you sure can. Cool.
And like, I don't expect.
I can
if
really
anyone,
just hear the drums when you do that.
Actually, I'm sure you can. Snare, little tom.
Ooh, why am I?
It's actually it's really really low pitch wise.
This is at 1440.
No, it's at 12 minutes.
12 minutes, you said? Mm-hmm. Okay. And you said there's some drums?
Yeah. Boom, 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 boom. I guess it is pitched technically.
Yeah.
Just like that. What
At
instrument is
12
it?
minutes, there's drums? I'm not hearing any drums at 12
It
minutes.
might be like 12:05 or something. Oh, I hear snare.
It's a snare and then like toms
actually-
and timpani.
Talk about
It sounds more to me like bass pits.
I hear multiple.
Okay,
Multiple
yeah,
drums.
I just had it really low. Yeah, the snare drums there. Kra, 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 kra. Yep, those are like flams on a snare drum. There's some toms, some concert toms. Yeah. Just it's kind of like it's very foreboding because we've got the pirates on their way. It kind of elicits this kind of imagery of like of a marching threat coming to, you know, take over and conquer. So very very apt use of the marching military drums.
And it reminds me of the episode on Akron with the Troiks. They had lots of that kind of thing going on.
Tykes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you a tyke?
Do you have another one,
When you
Justin?
go to a planet and they only speak
I
French.
got one more. This is speak French. That'd be great. Or Russian. Yeah, hold on. Okay.
Yeah. This is a cool theme.
6 minutes down.
Yeah, this happens on like harp.
It's like a harp and like a electric piano of some kind.
Yeah.
Like a duet almost passing back and
It
forth.
happens. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
This
when they're
is
entering
like,
the supervisor's office.
Mm-hmm.
Or
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right at 5.
It's when
Yeah, right around
Farrah-
5:50 is when that happens. Yeah.
Yeah. When Farrah calls the supervisor. And
I really
it
liked
is
that
almost,
part. I was actually really hoping that'd be an example for some reason. It was very simple and it was like it just very much repeated itself, but it was
Well, I mean, it reminds me
It had
of the
that
mysterious
British
hatch,
feel.
but like instead of descending, it's ascending.
Right.
Yeah. And then what's cool about that part is that, let me find it. It's like, yeah. Sorry, I can't find it, but somewhere around this episode that same line isn't like completely played, but like it turns into like the whole orchestra is playing. But I can't find it. But trust me, it happens somewhere.
Yeah, they are basically upside down, right? They're basically
Not
upside down.
exactly. Not exactly, but okay.
That's why I
let's-
said
let's-
basically.
Yeah. Okay, here's this one. And then here's, let's see if I have a simple transcription of the first one.
The notes are backwards.
Well, but there's
It's
also
exactly
not,
the same.
there's not an augmented second, though.
Yeah.
How dare you, Justin?
How dare I?
So, okay, if we normalized for key, is the mysterious hatch. So this would, but it's not. So it's a difference of 1/2 step.
Yeah.
Would be the first pitch class set.
Huh.
And then the second one would be, so not exactly.
The
but-
mystery has been resolved.
yeah.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah.
Mystery was resolved.
That's a
Literally.
good point.
I loved
Yep.
that supervisor scene. I thought it was pretty funny when he's like, "You're ruled by a droid," and it's like, as if you were supposed to know. Pharaoh's like, "As decreed by the great work."
Yeah.
Duh. What did you think he was?
She's like, and there's only one of him, no backups.
No backups. If you just punch him real hard, and he's a giant pit droid, is what he is. Remember the pit droids from Pod Racer?
yeah.
You hit him in the nose, hit the nose. You know, he hits them in the nose, and they fold up. It's just a big pit droid.
All right, so I got some questions.
Mm-hmm.
Are they mining this gold from somewhere and creating this money out of it? These credits out of it?
Yeah, it's a big
Like,
question, ain't it?
where are they getting the credits from? Why is there so much there? And
Who
like,
got the gold?
are they making? Yeah, are they making gold? Is that what the deal is? Are they just keeping it there? Are they? What is everybody working out? Like, what is the great work that they're doing? Is why I'm asking. Like, what are they doing?
I mean, none of them appear to be miners, and so the only
Right.
we can suspect, like, is there a mining colony on the other side of the planet that they all don't know about? Where,
Right.
or was the gold just sent to At-Atten? And there's just a
Yeah. Do they have any
big block of
imports?
gold.
Or is because again,
Microwave
this-
meals. That's all they get.
these credits are seemingly like the credits are like are old, right? They're from a former time, right? They're minting the coinage, right? But
Yeah, but
again,
where do they
so
get the
like-
material?
The design is old,
Right.
but the credits themselves are either brand new if they were recently created, or that's not clear. It's not clear whether they were actually created a long time ago and have just been sitting, or if they're continuously being created. I don't.
Right. And,
Maybe
and
that's
so-
why they had such a crazy stock, is because they didn't. The supervisor said the last thing he ever heard from the Republic was the Jedi are traitors, and
Was
so
the-
he's
yeah,
like,
Order
oh, okay,
66.
and then they just kept going.
They kept
Like,
making.
they're gonna
money.
show up someday. No.
Yeah.
I love that the Jedi were like, "You're gonna call us traitors. We're gonna hide at Atten." Like, say bye to your mint.
The giant machine that they passed by the last time seemed to be making the credits. They're just using replicators. Wait, wrong show. Until an emissary comes and gets the coins. Yeah, so maybe they are just, maybe they're just creating the material in a lab. I don't know.
Yeah.
The replicator.
Again. Yeah.
Other wrong show.
I don't
It's funny.
believe that.
I think
Because
it's just
Scheid
hand
and
wave.
others performed the bite test, and that's how you can tell the caratage of, the quality of metals when you live in yeah.
Is the
That's how
more
you tell.
hard the better, or the
I
softer the
think
better?
partially there's like a density that you can feel. There's like hard and soft. Like, yeah, if they're like a really high.
The colder, the better.
It's just
though,
if they're
as
the
well.
correct weight, then you can like kind of like taste it and sense it in the density of how it feels. Like, it's like, is this the correct cracker? And you take a bite, and if it has the right crunch, and it is the correct cracker. It's not actually about like whether the gold is like how valuable it is. It's just it being like accurate to the specifications of Republic credit, right? It's like how coins work.
Okay, I'm on a
Do
blog.
you guys
on-
ever read?
Okay, go ahead.
Like, I only know this because I read a lot of like fantasy novels about times when coins were the main currency, and so like when a new ruling family comes into power, they issue a new coin, and you have to like bite it to tell whether it's like a real or a fake. That's like super super common in like fantasy world.
Well, according to blue.dental.com, the biting method was used to verify if gold coins and other gold objects were genuine or forgeries. If they couldn't leave teeth marks in the object, then they might conclude that it was only plated with gold, mixed with other alloys, or not made of any gold at all. So leaving bite marks was the goal.
For gold.
Yeah, for gold.
For gold.
And then otherwise,
Gold-
you just
gold
know the
for gold.
density, I guess. Maybe the kids who fail assessment get sent to the mines. But they're all analysts and undersecretaries, aren't they?
I know, right? Like,
Yeah, right.
they're managing the miners, probably.
We've only seen one city. Perhaps the rest of At-Atten is farmland and mines. Yeah, maybe. Yeah. And I guess droids doing all of that, not people. I mean, I guess in a way, At-Atten is like selling us on the fantasy of like, well, if you just let AI. We're like, let the machines take over. Then everyone else will just get to do more fun jobs. Except that's not true because they're out here being analysts still.
No one
But I guess
enjoys-
maybe the droids are doing the hard labor. Maybe I don't know. But like,
I mean, no one enjoys farming. I mean, you have to get good at it. You have to grow things.
sure, yeah,
You have to.
yeah. So I guess they've made it so that humans don't have to be, farmers.
Yeah. It's like making music. No one enjoys that ever.
Right. I also like the commentary of a whole town planet creating endless wealth, that it's being hoarded underground like a faceless large corporation hoarding wealth. Yeah. Yeah, I like that too. I'm not even going to bother playing some of the ostinato stuff because it's like, it's literally like. Which I guess it's interesting how it rises or something, but I really think.
It's fine.
Yeah, it's fine. I will say a couple positive notes. We briefly got Kim's theme,
Mm-hmm.
with the little theremin moment. Any other? I'm trying to think if there's any other kind of things that came back. I guess we get the kind of an SM33, like those octaves, except they're
Yeah.
it was doing minor, not instead of diminished. But I feel like it's doing the same thing.
Dooba dooba dooba.
The moment with Kim's theme at 2308 was actually really cool. The strings, particularly the strings underneath, I thought were great. It was kind of like a swirling kind of Harry Potter type of thing. Yeah, that was a really good moment.
Good old Kim.
Good old Kim.
She's such a narc, though.
She's a narc.
I do wish she made more funny noises, like she did the first time.
She's a narc.
I mean, how were they
I'm dead.
friends to begin with? Like, or she went good. Is that what the deal is? Now, she went good, and now she's just a huge snitch. Is that like what her deal is? Like, you know what I'm saying? Or did like Jod pulled one over? But Jod like went to her house like, because he thought that he could trust her. Like, what's the story there? I wonder.
Well,
Like,
he didn't think he could trust her. He just knew he could use her.
He just knew that he
'Cause
could
even
get info
Remember, he
from-
turns to the kids and he's like, she's probably going to double cross us.
That's pretty funny. I think she's an interesting character. She's like anybody that's on some type of like. She's like, I have all the maps to all of the things that pirates want to find, but I will immediately call the cops on them if they come. You know, like it's kind of like is not what the trope usually is. You know, like it's like some seedy person that has all the stuff, and they're like making money off the fact that they have these like coveted items that people that are doing illegal things like want. But she's just like yeah, it's kind of interesting. I guess maybe it's. I don't know if we talked about this in that episode. No, because I wasn't there, right? I don't think I was, or maybe I was. I don't remember.
I don't know.
You weren't there
Anyway.
for the Theremin episode.
I don't think so. No, I don't think so. I didn't get to comment on this whole thing. But
That makes me
yeah,
think of
I find
Quenlin Voss.
ki-
Like Quenlin
Oh,
Voss is just like an undercover Jedi the whole time. Like his job is just to be a smuggler of things so that they can catch more smugglers.
right.
So he just
Right,
is a
right.
smuggler.
Yeah. Anyway, it's just kind of she's an interesting character.
Matthew says, oh, okay. Ender says, Jod seduced her previously, pretty sure. Very favor from my ex energy from his visit.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. Matthew said, only no theremin. I understand how it doesn't fit, but I would have liked to have heard the theremin one last time. So it did sound primarily like it was on woodwinds, but, and I also, when I listened to the episode and watched it, I thought there was no theremin, but then when I listened to the soundtrack, which I listened to the whole soundtrack yesterday, at the end, when I can hear the theremin on like one of the last few tracks. So it is possible that that the soundtrack doesn't match what was in the film. It's possible that they took it out, but I think it is in there really, really softly. Either way, it is on the soundtrack in this for this the part that corresponds. So that's what I'm basing it off of. I could be wrong. The library in Avatar: Last Airbender won not. So Kim is a honey trap.
Oh,
You said it. The library in Avatar had an owl too.
yes, that is true.
Yeah,
I got so. I know
because owls are smart.
they are. They're cool. I like how their heads can turn around and their
And their eyes and their beaks.
eyes are like, yeah.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
And they make cool
I don't
sounds.
have. Oh,
Owls make cool sounds.
yes.
I don't have a lot of other
Um,
notes, but I do think I think the main title theme and the end credits were different. Also, was the main title theme different? It felt more hazy.
It felt there was like some kind of like weird drone under it, wasn't it? Or like in the masks part. There's like I feel like
I
there's
feel
a thing
like
I
the
didn't
drone's
remember
been
hearing
there.
before.
I keep thinking it's changing too, but maybe it's not.
I think the title card itself at
The
310
title.
was different.
Is that what I'm thinking of? Let me see. Yeah, there's like a tempura there that I don't know if I've noticed before.
There always has been that.
It really okay,
The-
got it.
Dee, 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 dee. Feels like the instrument is like a hazier. I don't know. What do you all think?
I feel like it's been slightly changing every time in tone, but not necessarily the notes. Like every time I hear it, I'm like, oh, did they cut a note? And then I go back, I'm like, no, it's kind of the same.
They did cut a note. I just listened to 107. It's this, and here it's just. And the instrument has a slower attack. Sorry,
Maybe
I
it's
mean
just
it's like
been-
a longer attack. It's like the
Yeah, that works.
earlier one is more pingy, and this one's more like.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, and then I think the interesting thing about the end credits is the end credits up to here has been basically the pirate theme. And here it was the kids theme. So,
That's cool.
End credits were fun on this one.
yeah, they were very ET at points with the like the like Mordant like that kind of thing. Oh, and I loved the percussion in that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was inspired. For
Oh,
sure.
good call,
I'm
Andrew.
good.
We almost forgot about to talk about the credits.
Yeah, I kind of wish that I liked it as the end credits, but I kind of wish it was in an episode, like
Yeah.
almost like during like the bike moment. If when they're
Yeah, it
all
was really
running
cool.
and chasing and having their thing, it just kind of felt like a active kid adventure moment. Like, yeah, let's do it. You know, it was a cool little ending. Although it's kind of a very active ending for a very finale. You know what I mean? it's
I mean,
like that
but
was
it
more
needed that.
exciting.
We kind of needed it, though. We needed
I know,
that.
it was like, it kind of was like, I feel like maybe it was in somewhere, and then they're like, no, Mick, we can't put that there. No, we can't put that there. No. You know what? Last episode, end credits, you get to do this. He's like, okay. You know?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I liked that a lot, and I wonder if, like Chuck is saying, Mysterious Hatch episode 101 theme had a Goonies One-Eyed Willie theme vibe, and the supervisor is a one-eyed droid. If anyone, can you hear is there precedent? Like, do you think in the end credits that, you know, how all the drums come in, it's like really bombastic at the ends of the phrases. Does that remind you all of something? I can't point. I can't tell. I can't remember anything that it might be paying homage to or something. Except I just really like it. It's a weird choice and it feels inspired.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I find the end credit music to sound very like it's the most Disney thing in this whole the whole score. What's this? What's this? What's this? It's very Pixar and Disney. It sounds like something that would be playing over the speakers at Disneyland.
Is it because of the strings going like?
Yep. Yeah. That's exactly the sustained tonic.
Well, yeah. Just
And
doing like
then-
eighth notes. Yeah,
It
and
sounds
Chuck
so
for sure.
like Disney California Adventure for sure. Like
Yeah.
The second violins too.
it's very Toy Story. It's like, yeah, I think it's. I think it's very Toy Story actually.
Yeah, and I liked it.
The more I
liked
listen to it, no, I really like it. It's
Yeah.
very well put together.
Parentheses good. And Chuck, what you said, the percussive out before the credits is very ET. For sure, the lead up to the end credits was very ET.
It reminds me of no, it kind of reminds me of Inside Out. Actually, I feel like there's like some music from Inside Out that kind of reminds me of that.
Yeah, it does. It reminds me of the Bundle of Joy theme.
Yeah.
Yeah. The end credits were cool with the Jedi Adventures from Whim's device, and then the last image being the kids on their adventure. That is one thing that Mandalorian season 1, I can't remember if they continued doing it, did well. It was like I thought it was cool that the end credits. I feel like wasn't it Mandalorian where like they would show concept art in the end credits
It
and
was
just like
very
cool
cool.
stuff to look at? Yeah, I agree
Yep.
that these end credits were cool to look at.
Yeah, very cool. And there's a bunch of stuff in there that like there's like a whole story going on in the end credits that like
Yeah.
it's you know what I mean?
A
Like
lot
there's like stuff in
there.
there that wasn't like really referencing. I mean, it was it's it's Wim's book or whatever, but it was like it's kind of cool to see stuff that was like not even in reference to the things that we've seen on screen before, you know.
I need to go back
It
and
was a
watch
good
that because then
season.
I've like ended up listening to the episode more than watching it over the
Right.
week, which happens sometimes.
Yeah, there's all
But
these
yeah.
like Jedi things going on, you know. It's very
Can people
cool.
in the chat, if you have kids who have watched this, tell us what they think, what they've thought of the show?
We need a child's perspective.
We do.
I would
very
love
curious
to know that.
about it. If it hit with them, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who they liked.
Or they
Thing is, yeah.
aspire to
like-
be
What did they think of Jude Law
Yeah.
acting?
a
if they want-
Jod, a whim.
I like that we got to see the bubble bath again with the skylight.
Yeah.
It
Oh,
reminded me
Neil.
of, the X.
Neil's
like,
eye.
Hopefully he finished.
We got
before
the Chekhov
X-Wings
gun.
arrived.
I was hoping that the gun part was going to be a little bit more epic. Like he fired off two. I mean, it was pretty realistic. He fired off 2 shots, basically missed, and then they're like, "Yeah, we're going to turn our weapons on this." He's like, "All right, run." You know, that made sense. It would have been extra cheesy if he had like shot down the ship, kind of a thing.
Yeah.
That was kind of a cool moment.
Matthew's 9-year-old
think.
daughter absolutely loved the show. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's really awesome. I'm glad to hear that.
She really loves KB and got all the Black Series toys for Christmas. Oh, good.
Ooh.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Wow. Cool.
Cute.
I feel like each of the characters probably like if I think of like which characters were the most popular amongst kids, I'm guessing a lot of people liked KB. I don't know. It's probably pretty evenly matched. I'd guess.
Yeah.
As a kid, who would I like? I think I'd probably like KB.
I feel like KB and Neil were my favorite characters.
Wim would definitely be
For the
my
kids.
person. that I
Yeah,
would
James,
be interested in as a kid.
you are definitely a whim.
Those are the characters I always like gravitated towards when I was a kid.
What about you, Christina?
I really don't know.
Icarus, this is a good point. Lots of adults loved Neil. And I actually wonder if, I was thinking, like, I bet more adults love Neil than kids. But that's just a guess, though. I don't know. Because adults just think Neil is so cute.
Yeah.
Would kids
No,
want
he's
to be
adorable.
Neil, though?
Well, I feel like
He's
kids
kind
might
of the
want
old
to have
soul
Neil as
child.
their best friend, you know?
Yeah.
They might
Yeah.
not want to be Neil, but they might be like, I want to be friends with Neil. He's cool and he's and he's funny and he's, you know, nice.
I like that he was kind of supposed to be the annoying bunch of the characters, but he was like the least annoying character to me. He was most real. It was most grounded. Like, what are you guys doing? No, I can't climb this. I'm too short.
Right.
You know?
Like he's like the chunk of this show,
Yeah.
you know, from the Goonies. But Chunk was like he was kind of cowardly and scared, right? But then he ends up being like the hero at the end, Captain Chunk. So yeah, he was kind of like that, but they didn't really play him that way. They gave him a lot of like opportunities to show his bravery, you know.
Yeah.
So
Neil is more like the heart of the group, says Icarus. And then also my favorite was KB since the trailer, and then SM33 after watching.
Yeah, SM33
Wim is the
Smee
annoying.
great.
Win is the annoying. James. James.
He was. Him and Fern's
Wim is
both
the-
kind of annoying to me.
I think it also might, how I perceived this as a kid might have depended on how old I was. And like I think if I were older, I might like Fern. Because she seemed the oldest.
Yeah.
My daughter connected with the show more than any other Star Wars live action show. I saw that as well from other parents. I'm really glad they did this show, and I think overall it was a huge success.
Same.
yeah,
Yeah.
I agree. I think it was a great show, and I want them to do more stuff like this.
Mm-hmm.
It also I can't reiterate enough. Like, it looks so good. The show looks
Yeah.
so good, and in a way that I'm just like, what? How come every Star Wars show hasn't looked this good? It looks movie quality. I don't know what they did that other shows didn't do. I don't know did they just have more time? I don't get it. It just looks so much better than some of the other shows. So I'm like, what did they do differently? Like, I wish that
They made
that
things.
Lucasfilm could be more like A24 and like have a more definitive like A24 is like, you need to use our cameras, you need to use, you know, and I'm sure that they have some of that, but like there seems to be like some quality control that doesn't always extend to all of the different projects. Like, they don't all use the same stuff.
I mean, but
and
also
that-
like the different teams don't want to use the same stuff.
Which
I
is
know.
interesting when you have a franchise that's within the same world and
Right.
You
You,
know,
should be
I
able to
think
have
that's-
a yeah,
coherent look or something like that.
something like that. I mean, I know that a
But then
person
that also
like,
would be,
you know,
yeah. That also
Would
be
the- a person like,
stifling
what's
for a
it-
lot
what's
of
his
creators,
name?
probably.
yeah,
Tony
what's
Gilroy.
his name? The guy for yeah, he would be like, okay, well, I'm not doing the show then, you know. So
Yeah.
but and just so happens that he shot the hell out of that show, and that show looks just as good as well. So
Yeah.
this show and Andor, in my opinion, are the best looking Star Wars shows. And like then it's kind of like a pretty steep drop down to the next good looking show. I would say like maybe Mandalorian season 1 is like the next best looking show in my opinion. And after that, it's like it's kind of like Obi-Wan and Boba Fett do not look great. Actually, I would say there's like that one episode of Boba Fett that looks great, the Mando episode, you know. But
Yeah.
but everything else looks like pretty cheap, you know.
Yeah.
I wonder how much of it has improved over time versus what John Watts brought to the table. He's worked on the Spider-Man movies and is used to huge effects.
That's true. He did a great job.
Yeah.
John Watts can tell the hell out of like a story about like youth and coming of age. Like all of his Spider-Man movies, I'd say are definitively up there in their success at doing a very similar story. Oh yeah, I don't think Ahsoka looked very good in a lot of spots either.
I feel like
I think it looked better than Mando, but I think there were some really crappy effects in Ahsoka too.
And it's not just
crappy
the
is probably
effects,
a strong
it's-
word, but
Yeah, it's not just the effects; it's the costuming and the world
Yeah.
lived in, kind of a thing. That which was like, I feel like Ahsoka and the Acolyte both suffered the same thing, where everything looked so clean.
Everything looked like it
Like
was
they
like
just put on
actors
the
at Disneyland. You know?
yeah, like they just put on very clean, well pressed clothes for everything while running through the jungle for an hour, and then it's like you still look like you have these beautiful, clean pressed clothes after running through the jungle for an hour. It's just everything just felt very cosplayed, very clean. Where these shows felt very
Right.
lived in. Like I believe that that's what they look like, kind of a thing versus a costume.
Yeah. Well, like in the Acolyte, like everyone had like perfect hair and like looked like a model. That's the other thing. It's like
Yeah, well, there was
everybody in
that
the
too, but
Acolyte
that's
was like gorgeous.
Everything was just
It was
like clean. That's what I'm
like
saying. Very clean,
everybody-
very well pressed, very well presented, which is great. But that makes it a little less believable. Real quick, I'm sorry to change the subject here. Are we on a strict time?
No,
Oh,
we're
yeah,
not.
it's 7:00.
No.
Okay.
We're not. We're not.
Okay, cool. I have one more thing I'd like to show before we sign
Please.
off.
Oh, yes.
I would just want to shout out to like just the sound design I was mentioning earlier in the show, especially this episode was just phenomenal. I have 3 examples, but I'm just gonna talk through 2 of them, and I'll show one. The motorbikes are just for those that have watched other seasons, other streams of this, you all should hopefully know by now I'm obsessed with speeder bike sounds.
Are you
I
gonna share your
love the
screen?
speeder bike sounds.
Is that
I will, yeah, for one of
okay?
them. Yeah.
Can
Is
you
that-
share it in the? Are you sharing it in the interface yet?
Yeah,
I need
where
to
it
set up
says
a
share
scene
screen.
to make you be able to do that. So I just want to get started on that.
Oh, okay. I was hoping to share. Do I?
You can share your
Is that
screen. And then,
possible?
yeah, you can definitely share screen. I just need to then like add it to the a scene.
Gotcha. I'll
Yeah,
do
yeah.
that in just a sec. Yeah, the motorbike sounds were, or the speeder bikes were really, really interesting because they sounded so raw and analog. Like they sounded like a zip chain, a couple of them, and each one had a very distinctive thing. Like I felt like, I want to say like throttle, like actual combustion engine almost thing, or even like a chain link chainsaw kind of a thing, like propelling these things. It didn't feel like it felt a little less space magic. It felt very like we built these things, or like these. I mean, they were the only things on the planet that still worked because everything was linked. All the cars were linked to the supervisor. But I love the part where the dad is like, I think it might be able to run on internals. I'm like, it should run on internals. Like, why is this a problem here? I mean, I get it, like, just so that they could all jump on the bikes and do the thing.
Well, it's like the monsters are due on Maple Street, right? You ever-
Right.
Did you ever see that Twilight Zone episode where
One of my
the
favorites.
aliens are turning off various things, including people's cars, and but they're not. They're doing it from afar, and they're just all they're doing is just turning stuff off, and it just turns everybody into the town into a paranoid, crazy person, and they eventually, spoiler alert, they eventually all gang up on each other and just kill each other because they suspect each other of all being in on whatever conspiracy is happening because random appliances are being turned off and like there's like one house on the street that still has electricity and they're like, why do you still have power? And it's revealed at the end that the aliens are just like on a faraway hill pressing buttons, turning everything off with a special device. And they're like, yeah, if you just cause confusion, they'll kill each other. We don't even have to do anything. So anyway,
It's a good episode.
it's classic.
Yeah.
That sounds good.
Yeah. So
Well, I
those
spoiled
chains
it
were
for everybody,
good.
Sorry.
The other moment I really liked was the battle, the fight for the lever, the fight for the lever, kind of a thing, where you got a lot of really subby, low, beautiful force sounds. That's just felt powerful, and then they're all fighting. And then that moment where he starts bending Wim's father's hand back, and you hear the beginning of the crunching and stuff like that. That was a nice little touch Again, this show is so violent, but not at the same time. There's like some really violent things that happen in this show, but just on the tinge of like, okay, kids can still enjoy this kind of a thing. I thought that was a really interesting moment. And also with that, I love how in Star Wars we can just look at a panel of buttons and be like, oh yeah, barrier override is clearly this
Yeah.
one giant but unprotected button. Um, I figured that one out, and then it's like he's sitting at a desk. It's like, okay, let me address the entire planet for a more the entire city for a moment. Was pretty great. But the thing we haven't talked about, and what I want to share here, let's see if I can window, and hopefully we don't demonetize you for playing something back here, Xanthe. But
I'm not monetized to begin with.
all right, I'm sharing it, so you do what you need to do. But the barrier shutting down was pretty darn cool. There was a mixture of like storm cloud, electricity, metal, synthesizer, and there's like are we all, and I'll explain it of course for chat and for everybody watching, familiar with a shepherd's tone?
Yep.
You ever
That's in my notes.
heard of this? Shepherd's tone was kind of somewhat used for this, not like very specifically, but in a way. So shepherd's tone is a musical or auditory illusion, where it feels like something is continuously rising. Traditionally rising, it could also be done the opposite direction, falling. But really nothing is moving in a way. They're all just going, it's a bunch of like sine tones or things that are like very, let's see here. I think I kind of, let's see here. So that's your ye old traditional shepherd's tone, very famously used in Dunkirk by Hans Zimmer and a couple other movies to like get this thing. But this is the entire what we're looking at here. Oh, good, you can see my mouse. Haha. Is the spectrogram of this entire moment and what's happening. And for if you're new to looking at a spectrogram, this is showing this direction is time. Oh, you're good. This direction is time, of course, and this direction is frequency, so how high or how low something is. And the darker, or the, in this case, black, something is, there's no presence, or at least very minimal presence of sound. And the redder something is the strongest sounds across that time. So you're looking at slices of the entire thing happening. I love these circles that you got. And it's fun because you can, of course, like change it to like different colors if you really wanted to look at different ways of looking at. But the classic is just green in its own right. So all the way at the bottom here are subtones, things that are very low, and everything up here is very, very high. So I'm going to play it. Hopefully it should come through so we can kind of, I don't know if it's going to be very smooth to watch, but here is that, so you can see and hear when things are coming in. Hold on, I go back to the beginning here.
Ironically, looks
Yeah.
like the barrier.
I know.
I guess not ironically.
That feeling of silence is interesting to see.
Yeah.
And then here are the harmonies you can see.
Oh, that's cool.
And then we descend into crickets.
Oh
That's
yeah,
wild.
and I liked the
That would have been
crickets,
a
yeah.
a great assignment for a sound designer. And it's all pretty like non-synthesized. Like there's that one moment around here that we hear this like kind of synthy breath fluty reverby tone that comes in. But the rest of this is just slowly descending subtones all the way
That's
down,
really
and
cool.
there's this one little moment of a rise over here that we barely hear, and it's gone.
But earlier when you see it looks like a comb or a fork. It's like you see three of them kind of going in parallel, which is kind of like what the snow speeders sound in episode 5 in Empire Strikes Back looks like on a spectrogram too, because it's like the snow speeders are like harmonizing almost, because it's like it's not just one simple tone, and you could hear it here too. You could hear it's like it's like a few.
And so our fundamentals on our perhaps unnatural harmonics to the sound, because you see it here, and it keeps getting smaller, and we can still see these different lines going in the same direction.
Can you play that part again?
Yeah, let's see here if I can do this.
Whoa. Yeah. It's the Doppler effect, right?
That's fun.
Do we think that that's what it's alluding to, right? Doppler.
You mean like how how the pitch descends?
Yeah.
I think probably.
It's
But then
not
I
necessarily like-
clearly hear multiple pitches doing it, which is
Yeah.
you could see the red.
So we're
Yeah.
thinking that in real time that thing is probably making a consistent tone, and it's just getting further away from you because it's the barrier getting further across the sky, probably, right? So, which is how the Doppler effect works, right? It's actually something that's making one tone, and it sounds like the tone is going meow because the thing is getting further away from you, and the sound waves are lengthening.
Yeah. Here's another way of looking at the
Interesting.
same thing. These are just specifically the peak
It's pink.
the peak frequencies.
This is the
There's
Barbie
pink
version.
one. I like the printer. Printer is just like awful looking.
Ooh, I like
It's like
that.
a little forest
Yeah, that
Looks like a
that looks
coffee
kind of
stain.
cool actually.
or magma.
Liquid hot magma.
So yeah, I just thought this was just such a great piece of sound design, and it kind of reminded me a little. I'm gonna stop sharing here. Kind of reminded me a little of Andor when remember there's that celebration of the comets going overhead on that one
Yeah, what's it called?
planet kind of a thing, and
What's it
they
called?
I forget. I'm gonna rewatch that series soon, hopefully.
That's-
It was called Fest. What? No. Was that the name of the? Was that the name of a planet? That's the name of a planet. What the?
It was on
What
Aldani.
was that thing called? It was an Aldani celebration.
Eye of
It was
Aldani.
called
The eye.
the eye, right?
Mm.
That was cool. That was very cool.
That was very glassy and different. But that was those were great episodes. Yeah.
Yeah, they
That
were.
was
And
so good.
there's also been some very good Star Wars over the last 10 years, y'all. Some good stuff.
Icarus asked if we did Andor. Yes, we did. I'll
We
drop
did.
a play. I'll
did.
drop a link to the playlist. in
That
the
one was
chat.
fun.
Yeah, we loved doing
Can't
that
wait
one.
for season 2. Isn't that
one-
coming out soon?
I know. I'm
It
looking
was really fun.
later this year.
Is it truly scheduled?
I think
It's
so.
also
Really
wild how
April
quickly the
scheduled.
time passed, because we felt like, oh, it's not going to be
Gonna be
forever.
forever.
April 22nd.
And now we're already there.
Yeah, now we're old.
Yeah.
Look at how different we look now. It's just been. We've
I remember
really
how
been
this
through a lot,
started from
guys.
I can't tell if
Man.
you're being serious.
Bad Batch
I'm
season 1. Like, it was crazy.
It's like 2 years.
No.
Oh, and premieres
Well, I
Evil.
guess. Well, my streaming setup game was not as good because I just looked at our first one, and we're doing this.
3 Xanthes with names.
So
That's right. You would like
production has
build.
upped a little
You would
bit.
build it every single time. You'd come on. You'd be like building the entire session.
Yeah. My software upgraded a lot since then, so now you can like have it it's much easier. But yeah, it was rough.
That was really rough.
Yeah. Well, thanks to everyone who actually watched the early days of the show. It's still pretty rough, but yeah. Anyway, when's the next show coming out? What's the next thing we're doing?
Next Star Wars. I think it's Andor, dude. I think we gotta wait till
Oh my
April.
God. Okay, that's April's not far away.
It says
Yeah,
upcoming
it's less
Star
than 100
Wars.
days.
Visions is coming out this year, and then the Grogu movie comes out next year. And then in
I
development,
worry.
not is Taika Waititi's Star Wars movie, James Mangold's Star Wars movie,
Trilogies. Remember?
Charmin Obaid Chinoy's new Jedi Order movie not coming out. Simon Kinberg's Star Wars trilogy not coming out. Ryan Johnson's Star Wars trilogy not coming out. Kevin Feige's Star Wars movie also not coming out. David Benioff and D.B. Weiss's Star Wars movie also not coming out.
Not coming
It's like, you know what I mean?
The Ray movie, which may or may not come out.
The Ray movie not coming out. The Rogue Squadron also not coming out.
Section 31 is coming out soon, but that's the other star. And then I would love more pirate-based Star Wars stories. We have gotten some pirate characters and side stories, but I would love more where they are the main focus. Space pirates are fun.
Yep.
They are.
You might enjoy the
They
Thrawn
are.
books. Still hoping for a Dr. Aphra series.
You might enjoy the Thrawn books.
You did it.
There are space
it.
pirates.
Thrawn. We need a little banner for a music quiz, and then we need like
You
a
really
little
do.
like,
One that's just for
a
Thrawn.
little
like,
horn that goes up.
Andrew, are you listening?
Thrawn in the background. You know, it's been.
If anyone can find a Thrushy available somewhere.
I know. I want the Thrushy. Christina and I both want the Thrushy. I'm willing to share custody if we need to.
I
only
don't
acquire
like
one.
that.
Yeah, we can.
I don't
we
like
can
that word
co-parent
at all.
a
That
Thrushy.
word makes me feel very uncomfortable.
But then when you see it, it's so
It's so cute.
Thrawn play? Oh my goodness, no.
It's so what?
Oh my goodness. It's
you
Chibi
kidding?
I don't
Thrawn
like that at
is
all.
what he is. Little Chibi Thrawn.
Oh, there they are. Look at those
But
people. all
then
who
you
got
could
Thrushies.
cuddle with it.
You can cuddle with Thrawn. Okay.
Yes, Dr. Aphra would be a great series.
Yeah, I agree. Oh my gosh. Think of the ways you could pose. Oh my gosh. Spa day. Someone says on Twitter.
Oh my goodness.
I would have that as a permanent picture in my bathroom.
I would go for a Neil plushie, Icarus. I would totally have a Neil.
Yeah, Neil.
There should be. You know what? Okay, remember those days when it used to be like, you get the kids shampoo and it'd be like the head of a character from something, or like Tigger, like Winnie the Pooh. There
Yeah,
should
I
be a
remember
Neil
that.
shampoo, bubble bath, Neil bubble bath, when it like
So,
when the little Neil head on it comes out blue, and yeah, I think it'd be funny.
that'd be cute.
Second only to the Jar Jar Binks lollipop.
And it's with a honey
tongue.
butter chicken just with bacon.
Oh my gosh.
I can't.
Thrushy is
Who
well
is that
fed.
person?
Yeah, I'm not sure how I have very mixed feelings about this word y'all are using right now.
I have it as my contact card for Chrysanthe so that I never forget about how beautiful the Thrushy is and how much I want
Aw, that's so sweet. Matthew, I think it's only a matter of time before they sell KB glasses.
Yeah.
And I think they should be sunglasses because that would be like actually functional.
That'd be sick.
Thrushy? Yeah, the Thrawn plushie. Yes. They sold out really quickly, so Christina and I were not able to acquire. Anyway, I guess that means we're out of topics.
We're on the Thrushy.
This is a great show.
Are we coming out?
Very well done.
Yeah.
Great job, Mick.
And we'll be back for Andor for sure.
Giacchino. We'll be back for Andor. We will.
Yes.
The band batch will return.
Yep. Am I distracted right now?
No, not distracted.
Oh my god. Holy shit.
Yeah, I spent
Okay.
time today looking for collector's editions of Thrawn books.
I would almost prefer.
Oh, these are really good. I recommend checking out there's a Twitter account that is just for Thrushy. It is where's Thrushy. Just retweeting Thrushy stuff. It's really good. I'm gonna follow it.
And I like
Yeah.
they need
I
a
mean,
much
it's Thrushy,
larger
not
following.
Thrushy. I mean, like Thronshi. Anyways.
But it's a plushie. Anyway. Yeah.
The name is
Well,
a little weird.
Thank you everyone
Thanks,
for watching. Yeah, thanks Matthew. Thanks for attending our live streams and talking about Skeleton Crew with us. I think we all really enjoyed it overall. We will be back to discuss Andor season 2, and thank you as always for your questions, for participating in chat, and thank you James, Justin, and Christina. This is
Thank you.
Yeah, I couldn't do this alone.
Thank
Looking
you,
forward to the next one.
Xanthe.
Yeah.
Mhm. Okay, let's do our outro.